Welcome to the Middlesex Moments radio show. I'm Dr. Anna Wasesha, president of Middlesex Community College, located right here in Middletown, Connecticut, and also in Meriden, with a few offerings down in the shoreline in Old Saybrook. And joining me today is Darryl Reome, who is our acting director of admissions and possibly the most important person on our campus, especially at this time of year. People ask me, do I work in the summer? Of course we work in the summer. Darryl probably breaks more of a sweat in the summer than any other time in the calendar year, but we're here 12 months out of the year. And we're going to talk about the cycle of admissions, college admissions, what's involved, what we're thinking about, what we're seeing. And I think we should also try to dispel some of the myths that go into college choice. Maybe what I ought to do is turn it over to you, and you can start wherever you want to start, and then we'll just talk for the next half hour about college admissions.
Wonderful. Thank you for having me. There's a lot of things that I commonly address whenever I talk to new students or prospective students and families considering the school, certainly making them aware of where we are, the main campus of Middletown. We do have those offerings in Meriden and elsewhere in the state. And it's getting people familiar with what we offer. A lot of people don't know that we're here, and many of the wonderful programs that we offer are available to them and available throughout the year. So I think it's getting the awareness, first and foremost, kind of out there. And then also talking about size. I think a lot of people are intimidated by going to school. Maybe they haven't been to school, say, for 10 or 20 years. They've been out of practice and are really nervous about getting back into the swing of things. And so part of my day oftentimes is addressing that and letting them know that this is very much a welcoming environment. We encourage students of all ages, all backgrounds to seek us out and consider what we can do for them. And I always oftentimes talk about how small the classrooms are, and you have the chance to talk to faculty members, you talk to your professors, raise your hand, ask questions in class. And so once people start to hear about those things, I think they really get a sense of they can see themselves here being successful, maybe meeting certain goals that they have for themselves, whether it be academically or professionally, and letting them know that they can get started here and really be successful in the end. So that's a lot of what I talk about with families and students considering the college for the first time.
So what do you do with the students who say, I didn't really do that well in high school, and I wasn't thinking I would go to college, but now all my friends are going to college, so I thought, maybe I ought to think about this. What do you say?
Absolutely. Well, we want to see if it's a fit, and most times it is. It's them coming here, visiting the campus, maybe taking a tour. I can provide a tour. Some of our staff can provide a tour, connecting them with faculty and staff, and getting them over the kind of anxiety that goes along with the process, and letting them know that you can be successful here. The first step is just seeing for yourself what it's all about, then applying and then following through with the admission process, which is as seamless and as user-friendly as can be. So we try to make it that way.
That sounds great to me.
Yeah.
And sadly, we've already used up the first little portion of our radio program, and in this world, we have to take these breaks so that somebody else can come on and fill the airwaves with wonderful messages. And we'll be right back after this wonderful message, whatever it might be. Well, we're back. I'm Anna Wasesha, the president of Middlesex Community College, and Darryl Reome and I are talking today about college admissions, and we're also having a little bit of a laugh here because we're trying to figure out exactly what day today is and what day this radio show might air. So here's our best guess based on higher level mathematics. All of us have taken lots of courses in mathematics all the way through college, and our guess is that it's going to be airing on Wednesday, August 8th. So I'm going to say, well, here it is, August 8th. All right, and school starts when?
August 29th.
Holy cow. So then we subtract 8 from 29 and we get 21, and we divide that by 7, which is 3. So in 3 weeks, school's going to start. Is it possible for a student to decide, this is my future, I'm going to come over there and go to class?
Absolutely. We work with students year-round, but it's not too late. 3 weeks is plenty of time for students to come in, apply to the college, do everything they need to do, and then register for classes and continue their studies, or begin their studies rather, this fall. So it's certainly not too late. Although we always encourage students to apply early and get everything done early, sometimes that doesn't happen. Life happens, we understand that. There's family commitments that come up, work commitments. Some families are on vacation and just haven't gotten to it. We encourage them to come to our office right away, call our office, get started with the process. We can help them with that.
And what about financial aid? How's that work?
Financial aid, yes. It's still not too late, although we encourage students, in addition to the application and admission process, if they're going to apply for financial aid, is to do that right away. That is, they need to go online and fill out the FAFSA. That's the free application for federal student aid. Although the priority filing deadline is today, the office is still working with students and families that are submitting their materials beyond today. So again, we encourage those folks to follow up and begin that process right away, so that they don't have any difficulty or issues as far as the window is concerned.
So, affordability of college is always a big deal. So if I were to take, what is a full-time load?
A full-time semester here is $1,799 for one semester.
And that would be how many courses?
5 courses at the minimum, really. And so and quite affordable if you're shopping around looking at
Extraordinarily
schools.
affordable.
So,
Yeah. So that's something that people can, prospective students and their family members can come and you can talk them through that. And we have payment plans too. So if they aren't eligible for financial aid, they can figure out a way to pay it, ongoing through the semester.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that sounds pretty amazing to me. So let's talk about, obviously not with any identities revealed, but let's talk about the students you've seen in the last week. Tell me this, what kinds of people you're talking with.
It's a diverse crowd. I mean, the population of students that we attract can be anywhere from a student who's as young as 11 and 12 years old up to a person in their 60s or 70s.
I love the alpha and the omega. So where I was in Minnesota, we had an 11-year-old student.
Right.
He was astounding. And as is often the case with 11-year-olds or very young students who are at the college level, he was into science and mathematics, and he was brilliant there. He was still an 11-year-old kid.
Right.
But he did really well, and he graduated from my college at 13 and went to a 4-year institution, and last I heard he was doing great there. So what's your 11-year-old doing?
He's doing a lot of the same things. Came in for sciences exclusively, and is certainly advanced and is prepared for the expectations of college level work. And so I met with him and his mother, and as far as I know, they're doing quite well. So I mean, we see someone that young, and we hope the best for that particular student. And then we see everybody in between. That is, students in their 20s, in their 30s, and their 40s. I oftentimes have people who may have been in the workforce for the past 20 plus years, and they've never gone to college. They seek us out, we have a conversation, and they say, I'm a bit scared about the process. Am I going to be the oldest one in the class? And we have to tell them, no. It's such a great collection of people coming here wanting to better themselves that you won't even notice that. You might see it the first day of class where we have the traditional students, that is the students coming right from high school, and that might stand out at first, but I think if you walk around campus, you won't feel alone. You won't feel any different from anybody else taking classes here and earning degrees. So I would tell those folks that, in a given week, I meet with everybody, the teenagers up until the people that are in their 50s and 60s and want to come back to school and take classes. And, I worked with a lot of people returning home and have served the military for the past several years. Mm-hmm. So in this past week, I've met with several of them, and it's getting them, back on a college campus, assimilated and making sure that they're successful. So that may describe some of my week, but I never know who's going to come and see me or seek me out in a given week, and I suppose that's part of the beauty of working here in the job. So.
Right. Well, what about I don't know what I want to do? So where do I even start students?
Sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of options. It just so happens that our biggest academic program here is general studies. We have a lot of people who fit that bill. That is, they don't know what they want to do. They know they want to get started at a college and starting to take college level classes, but general studies is oftentimes something that's recommended to them because it is so broad. They can take classes in just about any discipline that we offer and really start the process, start taking classes, completing prerequisite courses. For those folks that are a little more kind of in the know as to what they want to do, a liberal arts and sciences is really a good option for them. It's a little more tailored than general studies. And we have other programs too where people come in and they know exactly what they want to do. So it's kind of a mix of all those things, but that's not a problem if you don't know what you want to do. In fact, I had a traditional age student in my office just before I came in here, and she said the same thing to me. She said, I need to speak to a counselor. I have no idea what I want to do. Yeah. So we lay out some options for them and let them decide and hope that we can make some decisions and hope that the fit works, and oftentimes it does. And we will actually go over and review some materials. Students oftentimes take a look online before they come and see us, so they might have a sense of what we offer and how it fits into their lifestyle. So
And then I think, another thing I wanted to make sure we talked about is transferability of credits. So
The beautiful thing about a community college is the seamless piece. That is, students that ultimately want to earn a four-year degree at any of the Connecticut state universities, they have a lot of options. They can come here, get their foundation coursework, their prerequisite courses, earn a degree or a certificate, and transfer them. And the process is seamless. It's better than it's ever been. We have articulation agreements with the CSUs, and provided students have a certain GPA and meet the requirements, then they have no trouble transferring there. And it seems to work out well. I mean, those schools, the CSUs, the Connecticut State Universities, are seeing an increase in applications. So they're having to turn people away, probably more than they ever have in the last decade or so. So community college is a viable option for those students to get to those same institutions, come here, save money in the long run, and that savings could potentially pay for an advanced degree in their field.
Right, right. So actually, in terms of long-term planning, it might be a good idea.
Absolutely.
A lot of other good reasons to do it. But when you think, financial planning is a big piece of college planning. And you could save that money at the beginning and also not encumber yourself with loans.
Exactly.
I've been really impressed by the fact that only 6% of our students take out loans.
Right.
Because that, when you read the headlines in the newspaper, that's the issue nationwide, is that so many young people have got, I think, an average of $28,000 in indebtedness when they leave college.
Right.
And it's like a mortgage, and then, if two people who have those levels of indebtedness fall in love and marry, then they suddenly have a nearly $60,000 mortgage, that gets in the way of other life things like buying a home or starting a family.
Right,
So,
right. You don't want to start your post-college life with that sort of loan. So we encourage students to apply for financial aid. The school also offers a number of foundation scholarships. So in addition to the traditional financial aid, there's a number of other awards that many students oftentimes qualify for.
So what's the most often named program of study that I was going to say most popular, but when I was kind of doing work similar to what you're doing, everybody, and this was a long time ago, hundreds of years ago, everyone wanted to major in business. And I began to think, well, business is really the same thing as saying I don't know what I want to do, because business covers absolutely everything. It can be something like loan collections and finance, or it can be selling cars, or it can be manufacturing machines. Right. So what is business? What's the most often cited, goal for the students you meet?
It's funny, it comes in trends. I mean, in the 13 years I've been doing this, business was popular for what seemed to be, 5 or 10 years at a time. But as of late, criminal justice has been extremely popular. Education is consistently popular. We have an early childhood education program. And so that oftentimes is a good option for students considering the field. Psychology, while we don't have a psychology program, we do have the option of a number of psychology classes, but also the human services program. So that's oftentimes a popular request of students. We have specialized programs that seem to be popular throughout the year. We have the X-ray Tech program and the new Vet Tech program, which we're extremely proud of, and those are selective admission programs, but we get a lot of requests for those particular programs. And the other one that seems to be growing is the manufacturing. We have a technology studies program with a manufacturing piece built into it. And as of late, I've received several applications from students interested in that. So,
good.
It goes in cycles, but those seem to be the most popular as of now,
Mm-hmm.
Before we enter the fall semester.
Well, we've got to take another break. So we're going to do that because the bosses at the radio station insist that we take this break. And then we will come back and we'll talk some more about college admissions 2012. Well, we're back. I'm Anna Wasesha, the president of Middlesex Community College, and proud to be so. And I'm talking with Darryl Reome, who's our acting director of admissions, and I hope you're proud to be so too.
Yes.
Yeah. And over the break, we were talking a little bit about rolling registration and riffing from that to the Rolling Stones, and it would be lovely if we had some background music like that, but we're just not technically sophisticated enough to do that. But for a moment, we'll stay in the reverie of thinking about Mick Jagger, as he's in his early 70s, I think now, and what he was... and the contribution you made to my early adulthood by making those wonderful songs and having them on the radio. And that brings us back to the radio. So the radio show today, we're talking about college admissions, and there's still time to decide to go to college, apply to go to college, apply for financial aid, and then the next big piece is registration. You have to pick those classes. So talk to me about that.
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, students should know that they can apply at any time. We're rolling admissions, meaning students can go ahead and submit an application They don't have deadlines to meet. Again, we always encourage students to apply earlier rather than later. But if you are a student or a prospective student and thinking about entering the college, some of the things you should know about include the application process, things that you need to do if you want to apply for admission and enter this fall. If you're interested in considering a degree, students have to submit an application. There's a $20 application fee. We also need proof that you've graduated from high school. In addition to that, we need immunization records. For most students, they have to submit measles, mumps, rubella, and varicella records.
What is varicella?
Chickenpox.
Oh, well, they could just say that. But no, they have to translate it into something nobody understands.
We need proof that they've had chickenpox, the disease, or proof of immunization for varicella. And then last is the placement test.
You know, when I was in college, it was, and actually I was in grade school. I don't know what was going on when I was in college. You had to prove that you didn't have tuberculosis. And I had this conversation with Darryl the other day. It's interesting to me what we have to check for.
Right.
And also at the University of Minnesota, they made every student take the Minnesota Multiphasic Instrument, which was called the MMPI, which was basically to find out if you're mentally healthy. You know, and they had to back off from that a long time ago. It's like, well, we wanted to do it. So now what we're doing is measles, mumps, rubella, and chickenpox, all the childhood diseases. And they have to somehow get a note from their doctor or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's certain exemptions to that. If you're born before a certain date, for instance, if you're born before 1957, you're exempt from these.
Why?
These state regulations, I believe. Yeah, whatever's in place. That's the advertised date, or date of birth, I should say. Students that are born before 1980 don't have to show the varicella or the chickenpox item. They just have to show the MMR. So there's certain things that we can certainly work with people and help clarify if they have questions. But
sure.
And then the last piece is the placement test. Oftentimes when I work with new students, they hear the word test and they start to panic. It's not designed for that. We just want to know what you're going to place into with regards to math and English so that we can assign you the proper class. And that brings me to the registration piece. Students that want to enroll this fall still have time. We talked about the dates, but we have a number of advising sessions that are available to students. We have an option for students to come in Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Middletown campus and meet with an advisor. Sit down, register for classes.
And let me just say, you can come to the Middletown campus, but you can register for courses that are actually taking place in Meriden.
Yes.
And probably the reverse would be true. You could go into Meriden. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
So students that want to take classes exclusively at Meriden may register for those classes at Middletown and vice versa. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Good.
And in addition to those times, on the Middletown campus, Monday nights we're open from 4 to 7. Extending regular office hours, and students can come in at that time, sit down, talk to an advisor. And the Meriden campus is also offering similar sorts of advising sessions throughout the week, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4 p.m. And they've also extended hours on Wednesday nights until 7 p.m. So if you live closer to Meriden and still want to go ahead with the admission process and want to save gas and you want to drive there, certainly do that and don't wait,
Right, and so if, because all those dates and hours went by pretty quickly, if somebody wanted to check them, they'd be available on the website?
They would, under upcoming registration dates. It's very easy to find, and it's on the homepage. So the website, for those people that want to visit the college's website, it's mxcc.edu/registration.
Perfect.
And it has all the updated items that we've talked about.
So, okay, so I'm a prospective student. I've figured out this admissions piece. I'm admitted. Now I need to register for 5 classes, or 4, or 3, or 2, or 1, because we have part-time students as well as full-time and everything in between. And I heard the dean yesterday say there are at least 400 sections of classes. So suddenly I'm opening this ginormous catalog of possibilities. So what would your advice be to someone who is, let's say, never attended college? They're a really brand new college student. How should they make good choices?
Absolutely. It's a great question. I would, number one, recommend they keep an open mind and have some flexibility with their schedule. If you're working now, you might want to be mindful of your commitment at work and maybe your availability as far as those times are concerned. What's great is we have classes in the day, in the morning rather, the afternoon, and in the evening. There's Saturday classes available, and there's online courses available. So if you're taking a look at the list of classes for the first time, it may be overwhelming, but it really isn't. That's what the registration and the advising piece is for, is to kind of break it down for you. Oftentimes if students are unsure about starting with a full-time load, perhaps start with a few courses. There's always the option of picking up a course during the winter intersession. We also have summer sessions as well. in addition to the traditional fall and spring semesters. So you can take classes year-round, which is a good option for some folks that work full-time or have families. But my advice would be to come in with an open mind and have a clear sense of what you can do, and we'll do everything we can to kind of ensure that success.
And then, that I think that's I would say the same thing, and I'm the first one to give advice. So I have to actually repress my instincts here. But another kind of student is a student who actually has taken courses elsewhere, and possibly courses at 3 or 4 or 5 different schools, maybe been in the military and taken some courses that would translate into college credit. So who should they talk to here to figure out where they're standing? Because they have advanced standing, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So how does that work?
Those folks that have completed college level courses or have credit that they've acquired, say from the military, should have an official transcript sent to the college. Or perhaps you can bring it in with you, and someone can sit down and either do a preliminary evaluation with you. We can find out or confirm what you've already taken so that you don't have to repeat a class. But we do have a gentleman here. His name is Irad Lee, who oversees some of the academic support services at the college. He oftentimes will do the transfer credit evaluations. And what's great is a lot of students can transfer credits into Middlesex, and then we have a clear sense of what's left for them to fulfill their graduation requirements. And one point that's important too, I wanted to stress to students, is the orientation for new students. Students want to know, well, what kind of resources are available to me? The new student orientation does a great job showing students and families what's available to them. And that's really, it could be anything from tutoring or up to, the hours that the library is open. Students that are enrolling here at the college this fall should plan on, enrolling at the new student orientation. It would only help them and demonstrate what's available to them while they're a student here, services that are in place to help them, resources that are available to them to help them. So,
and I have to say, I can no longer repress my instinct to give advice. A new student would be a new student to Middlesex. So even a student who's taken courses elsewhere, I think, would benefit from coming to the orientation, because every school is a little different. And also they'll lay eyes on people who ultimately they're going to need to know, people who run the tutoring center, the librarians, the student activities director, the registrar. All these folks are people that they're going to need, and so it's really worth it to come. Besides, it's a great way to meet other students.
Absolutely.
And once you get here and you look around the room, there'll be people you've never seen before, but they could be the people who end up being the best friends you'll have for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
So it's a huge transformative time, I think, for anyone of any age to join a community, which is what they're doing. And that orientation is a good way to find out what that community might be like, what it holds for them. And also think about what they can give to that community, because every student brings all kinds of interests and gifts to the place. So we have just a few minutes left, and I want to make sure we use the best advantage of this time. So where would you like to go with this? I guess I am always full of advice, but I'm not the interviewee. You are. So and you are the parent of 2 young children. So ultimately, you're going to be at the epicenter of helping a person think through college. So let's pretend that it's 20 years from now, or 18 or 16 years from now, and your children are thinking about college. What would you talk to them about?
I would send them to a community college. There's a number of opportunities within the state. There's 12 community colleges, so regardless of where you are, you have a number of options. But if we were in our backyard here, I would make sure that we visit Middlesex and take a look at the programs that are available to students, see what services are in place to kind of enhance the classroom experience, and see how I can get involved, or my children can get involved, and how I can help them with that. Because part of the process is not only the coursework, but what are you doing outside the classroom, and how are you contributing to the institution overall. And many of the students that I meet with aren't aware that there are opportunities to get involved and build that resume and work with other students and faculty and staff and really help Middlesex grow. So that would be something I would encourage my children to do, is investigate the school, see what's available, see how you can get involved and contribute to the greater whole here. So.
It's still summer, right? So we figured it's August 8th today, and we got 3 weeks till school starts. And there's an art show, a student art show that's still up in the library. And as you're saying that, I'm thinking I hope that people who come here for the first time, or repeat visitors, will walk through the library, because there you see the tangible evidence of what our digital arts and graphic arts and broadcast communication and fine arts students can produce. And it's kind of astounding. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's really first rate. In fact, I'm working on buying a piece of that artwork. I won't say which because I don't want the price to go up on. But I mean, if I were a millionaire, I would have been in there with a shopping cart. I think it's just fantastic what our students produce, and I think our faculty have a lot to do with it. But it's the students who are doing that work, and they're just all jewels walking through the doors. So we want to see more and more of these jewels walk through our doors. Yeah. So I'm afraid we've got to close down this episode of Middlesex Moments. I've been really enjoying our conversation today. Those of you who have just tuned in might want to look for us in a repeat broadcast. But meanwhile, this was the Middlesex Moments radio show broadcast from Middlesex Community College, and our website is the go-to place to learn more about us, and it's at mxcc.edu. I'm Anna Wasesha, president of Middlesex Community College. I've been talking with Darryl Reome, whom you can contact here at the college by looking up the Director of Admissions office, and it's DREOME at mxcc.edu. Darryl's one of the nicest people on campus. I'd encourage you to come and meet him, and meanwhile, I'm going to wish you all a good day.